Stardew Valley, the cozy farming sim where you leave the city life behind and create your very own slice of paradise. But before you can dive in, there is a big decision to make, and that is choosing the best farm type for your journey. There are 8 different farm maps to choose from in Stardew Valley, and each of them features a unique layout of the farm, offering different benefits and favoring specific skills. So today, I'll be discussing the farm types in Stardew Valley in order to help out anyone just starting out, to choose the best farm they would like to start on. But before we begin, don't forget to leave a like and also press the subscribe button to join our little community. So first off, let's talk about what makes each farm unique. We'll be looking at factors like layout, resources, combat opportunities, and overall flexibility. Some farms are ideal for beginners, while others offer challenges that veteran players might enjoy. So let's start from the standard farm. The standard farm is the perfect one to start as a new player, since it offers the largest farmable area from the rest. It's considered the classic option, perfect for players that want a large open space to grow large amounts of crops. This farm is quite versatile, letting you experiment with different layouts, whether it's for crop farming, animal pens, and even orchards. I highly suggest this farm for newer players, since it's like a blank canvas that you can work on and create your very own masterpiece. My main farm is on this layout since it was the one that I started my Stardew Valley journey on. The only downside of this farm for me is that it doesn't come with any unique resources, and for some it may even feel kinda bland, since you only have the basic yellow ground to work with. But you can combat that if you want. You can make your very own little areas as I did with mine. I made a small little forest in the bottom left corner which broke the monotony of the farm, giving it a special feel to it. And it doesn't have to be a forest. You can basically create anything you like since it has a huge open space. And that is the biggest reason why you should pick that farm. But if you're looking for a bigger challenge, then you should check out the next ones. The next farm that we have is the Riverlands farm, and it's a much harder farm to work with. The water around the little islands significantly decreases the overall farming area, making it difficult to earn huge amounts of gold with farming. But a little change that happened in the 1.6 update made this farm a bit more viable. In the past I would never consider this map because it didn't have much, but now with the 1.6 update, players start with a fish smoker, which was also added in the 1.6 update. The fish smoker is really awesome and it doubles the sell price of any fish put in it while retaining the quality. This is a really amazing boost for the Riverlands farm, and as I mentioned in the past I didn't even suggest it, but now with this, your start can be a really great one and even better than some of the rest of the maps. The only issue is that it requires 1 coal, but even that on the start is useful. The farm is split between different small islands that are reachable by the bridges, and it may help you in splitting the different small islands by their use. Some will be for crafting, farming, and even animal keeping, so you can take your time in deciding that. Overall, the Riverlands farm is great if you love fishing and want a unique farm layout, but keep in mind that it sacrifices some crop space in return. I wouldn't recommend this farm for newer players, but if you like a challenge, then this is a perfect farm for that. Next up we have the forest farm, and for me this farm is the most beautiful farm there is. I made a video ranking all of the farm layouts, and the forest one for me was the best one. I don't know why, but the forest farm gives me a really cozy vibe and I just love it. The farm also has limited farming since most of the areas are taken by trees, grass and bushes, which increase the difficulty of the farm. But this farm gives a lot back. There are 2 western clearings which spawn 8 renewable large stumps, seasonal forage items, and the whole farm has unique weeds that always drop mixed seeds. The ponds on the farm also have the wood skip, which is required for the community center and is only found in the secret woods. So another bonus. The farmable area, however, is a bit limited. So if you choose this farm, you'll need to focus on animals as well. This farm also has another bonus. While the berry seasons are in effect, the farm will have bushes that grow berries on them, so you won't have to go further from the farm to get those. For me, even though the farmable area is quite small, you can still make it work when you combine it with animals as well. This farm offers a nice challenge and it's a good one to start for newer players as well. But that's up to you. The next one that we have is the hilltop farm, which is tailored for players that want easy access to resources like ores and geodes. The hilltop farm is also limited for the farming areas, but not as much as the previous two. The southwest hilltop spawns stones, ore nodes and geode nodes depending on the player's mining level. If that area is cleared, it will usually regenerate 7 to 13 items every 4th day. The sad part is that sometimes the area may be blocked off by a large stump, a large log or even a boulder, making it inaccessible until you get the correct tool. The stream that goes in the middle of the farm looks quite nice and it gives a great feel to the farm, but it further limits the farmable area a lot. Like the riverland farm, the different cliffs and areas may help you split your crops and animals more naturally, but it also makes navigating the hills quite tricky, especially when you're trying to place large patches of crops. Also, the quarry takes up a lot of valuable space that could have been used for crops or animals, so pick this farm if you want to focus on mining and resources gathering, since it's not the best if you want to grow large amounts of crops. For the next farm we have the wilderness farm, which for the moment for me is quite useless. The wilderness farm's main focus was that monsters would spawn on the farm. Afterwards, in a future update, that option was added to all of the farms out there in the advanced menu, where you can turn it on and off for the farms. And with that, basically this farm became useless. The look of the farm is pretty good. In the left bottom there is a big lake and you also have a small pond in the center for easy watering. There are also some additional cliffs that further limit the farming space, which is decent to say the least. The farmable area is around 2131 tiles, which is more than the previous farms. But other than that, the farm is not that unique. This is a farm both newer players and veterans can enjoy, but I wouldn't recommend it since there are many other better options. And one of those options is the Four Corners map. This farm was released as the best multiplayer layout where the farm is split into 4 distinct areas, and each of those has some pieces from the other farms. The top left corner has the forest farm where a small grassy area will always spawn a stump, as well as the weeds that spawns here can transform into the weeds that spawn on the forest farm, which always drop mixed seeds. The top right is the standard farm with the most farming space, the bottom left which contains a small pond, and the bottom right the hilltop farm which has a small quarry. The farm areas are split by cliffs and in the center we have our greenhouse and cave. This is a really good farm to start on for beginners, and if you have someone to play with, it's the perfect for multiplayer. So I highly suggest this farm if you're just starting out. The following farm that we have is the beach farm, and I don't recommend it for new players. And that's only because of one thing, and that is you can't use sprinklers on this farm. Well, you can actually put them, but you can only use them in a small area on the farm, while on the sand you can only water by hand. This really limits you, where the energy spent on watering could have been used somewhere else, and that makes it quite harder to play. The farm offers a good foraging area at the bottom left, which would be a good animals area as well, due to the grass, where you can't plant anything. The greenhouse is on its own little island, and on the shore sometimes you will find supply crates that have some goodies. Even though this farm is quite beautiful, it's truly intended for the more seasoned players out there, and not really as your first farm. It requires more planning, especially for setting up an efficient watering system and managing crops, alongside fishing and foraging. So if you're a newer player, you better check out one of the other farms to start on. But if you're looking for a unique farming experience with some extra challenges, then the beach farm is my top pick. And the last farm that we have, which was added in the 1.6 update, and that is the Meadowlands farm. This farm is really unique, and that is you start with a chicken coop and 2 chickens instead of the 15 parsnips. The farm also has some chewy blue grass that animals love, making it the perfect farm for animal ranching. You also start with 15 hay as I mentioned instead of the 15 parsnips, so you should really plan out your strategies on this farm. The farming area is quite limited but not by a lot, so you can also have a decent amount of crops. There is a little area that's only reachable by a little bridge, and the greenhouse is on the top center of the farm. Only the cave location was changed and now it's in the bottom right corner. There are big grassy areas on this farm that would be perfect for animal coops or barns and even sheds and other buildings, so making a good layout for them is essential if you want to maximize the farmable areas. I would suggest this farm to anyone, even newer players, since you have enough farmable land, and at the start you can focus on finding some mixed seeds to plant while also purchasing some. It's a pretty decent farm and I quite like it. But everyone, those were the farms. Each one has its own unique charm and a gameplay style that's perfect for them. Whether you want the flexibility of the standard farm, the resource-rich forest farm, or the challenging beach farm, there's something for everyone. Choose the farm that best fits your style, and remember you can always try a new farm anytime. My suggestion for the newer players out there is the standard farm, the Four Corners, and even the Meadowlands farm, so take your pick and just have fun. Just let me know which farm layout you choose for your own playthrough, and which one is your favorite. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel since it means a lot to me. I hope you all have a great day and I will see you all in my next one. But till then, stay safe.